Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad MIFZAL NAZMI bin ZULKIFLEE. I am from JBA 2515C.
Hi, my name is NURUL BINTI ANUAR.
So today we'll present to you 5 financial instruments. The first one is credit derivative and credit swap, which will be presented by NURUL HUDA, while credit option, credit linked notes, and contract for difference is presented by me.
Financial instrument that allow one party to transfer or manage credit risk to another party without transferring the actual loan or bond. In simple words, it's a separate the risk from the asset itself and allow that risk to be traded or hedged. Now, let's look at the main types of credit derivative. The first type is credit default swap or CDS. This is the most common form and works like insurance on a loan or bond. The buyer pays a regular fee, and if the borrower default, the seller compensates the buyer. A simple example is a home insurance. You pay monthly premiums, and if your house burns down, the insurer pays you. The second type is total return swap or TRS. This transfers both credit and market risk. One party says the total return of an asset, including gains and losses, while receiving a fixed or floating payment in return. Is it like renting an investment? You enjoy all the profit or loss of a stock without actually owning it. The third type is credit linked notes or CLN. These are bonds with an embedded credit derivative. The investor return depends on the credit performance of a reference entity. Is it like buying a bond with a bet included? You earn higher returns, but if a specific third party defaults, you may not get all your money back. The last one is collateralized debt obligations or CDO. Okay, this pool loan or bonds and divide them into tranche and with different risk level. Investor can choose their preferred level of risk from several tranche to higher risk, high return tranche. Credit derivative risks are used for several reasons. They help with risk management by protecting lender and investor from default. They allow speculations where investor can bet on a company or government's credit quality. They improve capital efficiency by helping banks reduce the capital needed to hold risky loan, and they support portfolio diversification by spreading credit risk across different parties. However, credit derivatives also carry risk. First is counterparty risk, whereas the protection seller may fail to pay. Second is a complexity risk, as some products are difficult to understand and value. Third is a market risk, where price fluctuates and affect profits or losses. Fourth is a liquidity risk, meaning some instruments are hard to buy or sell. Last but not least is systematic risk. Excessive use, especially of CDS, can threaten the entire financial system, as seen during 2008 financial crisis. A credit default swap or CDS is a financial derivative that allows an investor to transfer or offset credit risk to another party. In simple terms, it is a contract where a protection buyer pays a fee to a protection seller, and in return, the seller agrees to compensate the buyer if the borrower default. Okay, a CDS transfer is not the actual asset. The bond or loan remains with the original owner, but the risk of default is shifted to another party. For example, imagine you have hold a $10,000 bond issued by ABC Corporation. You are worried about default, so you pay $200 per year to a bank. If ABC default, the bank pay you the full $10,000. If ABC does not default, the bank simply keeps the $200 each year. CDS is triggered by credit event. Credit event simply means that something serious has gone wrong with the borrower's ability to repay. These events are clearly stated in the contract. The first event is failure to pay. This happens when the borrower does not pay interest or the loan amount on time. For example, a company misses its bond payment. The second is default, other than failure to pay. This means the borrower is considered bankrupt or unable to meet obligations even if payment has not been missed yet. For instance, when a company officially declares insolvency. Next is obligation acceleration. This occurs when lenders demand that all remaining debt be paid immediately because the borrower is in trouble. For example, a bank asks for full repayment earlier than agreed. The first event is repudiation. This is when the borrower denies the debt or refuses to honor the contract. An example is a government saying it will not recognize or pay a certain debt. Then we have moratorium. This is a temporary stop in payment, often ordered by a government during a crisis. For example, a country pauses all debt payments due to an economic emergency like COVID-19. Another event is obligation restructuring. Here, the loan term are changed to help the borrower repay, such as lowering interest, extending the repayment period, or reducing the amount owed. Finally, there is government intervention. This happens when the government steps in and changes the borrower's ability to pay, such as taking over a bank and altering its debt. When any of these events occurs, the CDS is triggered and the protection seller must compensate the protection buyer.
So moving on to our next instrument. So let's look at the credit option. So while swaps are about the direct exchange, so a credit option gives the holder the right to choose. So okay, by the definition, these are the contracts that give the holder the right but not the obligation, which are to buy or sell credit protection at a specific strike price or spread within a set period. So as you can see in the diagram, the option holder pays an upfront the premium to the option writer. So on the future decision date, the holder can choose to exercise the option if the market conditions are on their favorable. So for example, to enter a credit for swap or simply let it expire and do nothing. So the main benefit here is that the downside is strictly limited only to the premium paid, providing a flexible way to manage risk. So next we have credit linked notes, which often referred to as the risky bond. So a CLN, credit linked notes, is essentially a debt instrument or bond that has credit default swap embedded directly into it. So in this arrangement, an investor buys the note from an issuer such as bank, so by providing a principal investment. So in return, the investor receives a higher interest rate or coupon compared to the standard bond. So however, there is a catch. So if credit event occurs for the reference company, the bank is no longer required to pay back the full principal. So the bank keeps the principal to cover the losses and the investor take the losses. Ultimately, this allows banks to offload their credit risk directly to the investor. So for our final instrument is the contract for difference or CFD. So which acts as a price bet between two parties. So this is contract between a trader and a broker to exchange the difference between the opening and closing prices of an asset. So whether that's stock, indices or commodities. So there are three things to understand about CFD. First, there is no ownership. You don't own the underlying asset. You are simply speculating on its price movement. So second thing is the margin. You only need to deposit a small fraction of the total trade value. Third is the risk. Because of high volatility and leverage, losses can quickly exceed your initial deposit. So the trader and broker simply pay or collect the price difference once the trade is closed. So that concludes the breakdown of this credit instrument. Thank you for your attention.